life coach and trusted advisor. I also run fitness classes, but my passion is really working with women, specifically female leaders, and reminding women of how powerful they really are. So I'll tell you a little bit more about me as I go through this, but basically my belief is that women have the potential to be the most powerful force in the world. And the thing is that we often don't realize how much influence and power we actually have. And we also don't tend to be able to see ourselves in our true light, because we're often filtering who we think we are through lots of criticism, negativity, trying to see ourselves from other people's perspectives. And so what I really love to do with the people that I work with, and just in general, is draw out what makes them unique, what makes you special, what makes you powerful, the best qualities that you have. And every single person that I've met, every person that I've worked with, they have such incredible qualities, so much to offer to the world, to their families, to their communities, and often what's holding us back is really unnecessary. It's all up in our head. So like what's between us and our dreams, our goals is often just what's ever between our two ears, And so really dismantling the mindsets that keep us from, truly being who I believe who we are. Like we say who we're capable of being, but like we're already so much and we're just not seeing it. And then like you talked about confidence, which is so important. The confidence actually comes from doing, but we often hold ourselves back because we think I don't have confidence. When I have confidence, I will do X, Y, and Z. We don't realize that by taking actions and moving forward, we will gain that confidence. So first of all, I always love to start everything by inviting everyone present to be open to possibility. So whether it's while you're hearing me speak or anyone else speak during this conference, be open to possibility that maybe the reason you think you're here isn't really the reason you're here at all. And that there's some completely other outcome that you're going to get, some other insight, some other, inkling of a new perspective that may come from this conference that you couldn't even have imagined. So just open yourself up for that possibility. And another thing is that, people often see what you do, but they often don't know how you feel. So you guys can probably see if you have your videos, if you're watching, you can see I have my archery equipment back here. I had a dream to become a horseback archer, which I began pursuing. And so people think that's really cool. I go on classes if people see this behind me, which happened to just be there by chance, like, cause the space I'm in, that's where I hung my stuff. But when people saw it, it's like, they started, oh, that's really cool. Wow. You're a horseback archer. Oh my God, and get all impressed by that. But people often see what you do, not how you feel. And so what people don't see is that my dream to become a horseback archer actually came out of a feeling of powerlessness and being really stagnant and actually feeling incredibly empty as well. And so, that goes to say that what you see everyone else doing around you, you often don't know how they really feel. What's driving those actions that you're so impressed with? What's driving those outcomes, and sometimes people accomplish amazing things, but it's not coming from a very healthy place. Right? Because you can never have enough of what you don't really need. And often we're often pursuing things that we don't really need. So that is to say that, you are capable of so much. And this act of comparison really doesn't do who you really are justice. So one of the things that led me to feeling so incredibly burnt out and empty at that period in time when I was like, I'm going to be a horseback archer, it was that I am a giver. And I find that most women that I work with are also givers. And so there's a book out there called Give and Take. And the author mentions 3 types of people: the givers, the takers, and the matchers. Okay. So we know what givers are. We know what takers are. And then matchers is like, you give me something, I will give you something. Right. So everyone here, just think for a second, who do you think would be the most successful in life and business? The givers, the takers, or the matchers? So just think of that. If you guys want to type in the chat, I guess we could use the chat, right? You can type who you think would be the most successful. All right. So, okay, matchers, matchers, matchers. Ooh, matchers are winning right now. The most successful people. All right, cool. Good. Thanks so much for typing that out. All right. So who do you think would be the least successful in life and or business? The givers, the takers, or the matchers? The takers. Ooh. Givers, givers, takers, givers. Okay. So the matchers won the first round of who will be the most successful. The solely givers, least successful. Ooh, Josie, that's good. Yeah. So that's really interesting what came up here. So the truth is, what the research actually shows is that the least successful people in life and business are the givers. And the most successful people in life and business are also the givers. And so why that is what, I end up working with women on a lot. It's because the least successful givers are the ones who they give it all away. And that's who I was before I burnt out. Give everything, wake up in the middle of the night, cook all the meals. Everybody comes first, not even back burner, like you fell off the list a long time ago kind of situation, right? So just doing and doing and doing, giving and giving and giving, and trying to be the person that you think everyone else wants you to be, that you're supposed to be. That's another thing that comes up for my women so much. What should I do? What's the right thing? Okay. And so we're often thinking that this is what I should do as a mother, as a wife, as a person in this role, as a person in this business, right? What should I do? How should I be? And when we answer that, we often give everything away. And we don't realize that when we're not reserving anything for ourselves, for our own well-being, there comes a limit, that cliff shows up where you can't be there for anyone anymore because you've given everything up. And that's not fair to yourself. And that's actually not fair to anyone else. So that's why the success is lacking there. And that ends up being a type of failure. However, the givers who are the most successful, they are the ones that they give generously. And they're also so mindful that they have this tank. They have one tank that gets filled up from giving. It feels great to give, right? It feels great to help others. It feels great to make a difference. But they know that there's this other tank that if that thing gets too low, I can't keep giving like this anymore, right? So they're always filling up their other tank, which comes from so many different things for so many of us, right? It comes from things that we enjoy, our hobbies. It comes from all types of self-care. It comes from our self-talk. Like, how do you talk to yourself when you look in the mirror, right? Some of those negative thoughts that we just don't even think matter, they are draining you. They're that tank that you have, they are draining that tank of energy day after day after day after day. All right. How many times have you done something when you didn't want to, right? Someone says, hey, can you do such and such thing for me? And you're like, sure, I got it, no problem. But actually, you don't want to do it. Actually, you can't do it. You have other things to do, or you don't have any energy left. You're tired, right? But you still say yes. So sometimes it's saying yes to things when you really should be saying no. And that is draining the energy. And so we all would like to be the successful people, right? In life and business and beyond. And so in order to do that, we have to start to balance our giving. So we're still giving, we're filling that tank that gets filled up with giving. And then on the other side, we're thinking, what are the things that energize me? What fills me up? What lights me up? What makes me feel completely alive? Right? Where it's almost like I have endless energy then to give. Right. And as long as you keep filling that tank up, that's going to be the case. And that's why those people can be very, very highly successful. Okay. So that's what we all want. So what often prevents us from having that balance, right? There's a lot of habits that we have that don't actually support who we want to be oftentimes, and they're coming from inside us. And just a small example may be like eating foods that you don't want to eat, that don't support you to feel your best, let's say, right? So if someone has some kind of unwanted behavior or unwanted urge, which could even be, like I mentioned, about saying yes when you really don't want to say yes, that's a habit. Why are you doing these kinds of habits where you want to stop it, but you can't? You feel like you can't, right? So usually these are coming because we're neglecting our deep needs. And so that's like that tank that you have to keep full, right? So some of the ways that we neglect our needs is that we do not set boundaries, right? Or our boundaries are so far out there. They're like way out there. You got miles and miles. before you get to your boundaries. And so we want to be able to, rein those things in and really be deliberate about what is protecting your well-being, what is protecting your health, what's protecting your sanity, what is continuing to help you grow and become, if you're not growing, you're not learning, you're not changing, you're this static line, which maybe you'll have a tiny little lift towards the ends of your, as you go on throughout your life, or maybe it's going to start going down. So we have to be continuously growing, right? So how are you protecting your ability to pursue knowledge, to pursue the things that really light you up and that you enjoy? And what are you tolerating? This is a great question that you guys can all write down. What am I tolerating right now? Right? There's always something, and you probably know it like that. Like, I know I'm tolerating that thing. I'm letting that person do that thing, or I'm doing that thing that I know I don't want to do. So that's a wonderful question to ask yourself regularly. What am I tolerating? And then you take a look at that, and how can I eliminate that? How can I delegate that? How can I have a conversation about that? Right? So that you can start to really set up the things that are protecting who you want to be and your health. And it's that cliche, which is the cliche for a reason, because it's so accurate, of you have to put your oxygen mask on first. So we're protecting ourselves and enhancing ourselves in every way we possibly can, so that we can then be there for the people around us and to do the things, the valuable things that you want to do in the world. Okay. So the next one is just that you're completely running on empty. And that's when you're not knowing what is, you're ignoring that's that tank over there, and you're on empty, but you keep going anyways. Right. And then that what happens there is you end up showing up as a person that you don't want to be. Like during the time when I was super burnt out, I remember yelling at my kids a lot, but I was also pouring boiling water on myself accidentally. And I didn't realize that it was all because I hadn't been getting enough sleep. Right. So recognizing that you are drained, completely drained, and having ways to identify that drain when it starts to come on. And that should be, with yourself, like you start to notice little changes, like what's going on, what's causing this. You can have other people too. Hey, if you notice I get really cranky, can you just let me know? Right? So that you can check in with yourself and find out, well, what am I missing? What's happening? And the best ways to fill your tank is to ask yourself, what lights me up and makes my heart sing? What feels really satisfying to my soul? Like there is something out there that you need. It might be like taking a drive and listening to something beautiful by yourself. It might be that alone time. It might be taking a nap. It might be going out with friends. What really lights you up? It might be the work that you do, the writing that you do, right? That fires you up and energizes you. You need to make sure that you have those things in your life regularly. They cannot be pushed aside. They can't be on the back burner. You have to carve out time and protect it like you would anything else that is so important and valuable in your life, right? You might be taking on too much. I am so guilty of this. I just pile things on, like, this sounds great. I'll take this course. I'll take that role on. You want me to help you with that? Yep, got it. Right? You start taking on too much, and it all sounds like a great thing. But then what often causes the drain from this is that you're thinking like, I have to do it myself, or no one else will do this. Right? Have you ever had that in your family, maybe in your home? Is like, oh, if I don't do it, nobody's going to do it. It just won't get done. I have to, and you're grumbling and you're doing the thing, right? So oftentimes that's not true. So asking yourself, is it really true? Like, is it true that if I don't do this, no one else will? Or what if I told this person and then I actually didn't go follow up and do it myself? Would they actually follow through with it? Like, explore. Don't take things for granted. You got to ask yourself, is it true? Especially with taking on too much, or saying like, if you hear yourself in your head saying, if I don't do this, nobody will. Just take a step back, make someone else, tell someone else to do it instantly. The problem with women is we are very strong, and we value patience a lot. So we think that if I can bear it. Like, I'm tough. I can get through this. I know I can handle it. If I give this to so-and-so, they're going to be grumbling, they're going to be in pain, but if I could just handle it, right? So we handle stuff and we push through. I want you guys to step that back a little bit. Like, it's great to be strong, but reserve that strength for places where it really counts, and don't spread it out everywhere and do it for every little thing, so that you're draining and draining and draining that tank. Okay. And then the always coming last. Check out your list, ladies. Priority list. Who matters in my life? You have to be number one. You're the one at the end of the day, at the end of your life, that you're going to be with. It's you and you. And throughout the entirety of your life, you're going to be the only constant there. So it's your job to take care of your health, your body, your mental well-being, your spirituality, your connection with God, whatever, all the things that matter to you, right? All your values, they have to be priority number one. No more back burner, no more bottom of the list. Okay. Cross it off, put yourself at the top. So important. All right. And the other thing is you need meaningful connection. Like, alhamdulillah, we're all here together in this conference, right? If you guys have it on gallery view, you can see a lot of other wonderful women in the little boxes, but we're all together, right? Meaningful connection. So this is a great example of creating connection. But how else are you creating meaningful connection in your life? Who are you having like really stimulating conversations with? And one of the ways, actually, I get something I can say about this is we often we have to kind of step back and see the people that we're spending time with and ask, is it really stimulating and is it energizing me? Because when we are, sometimes they say the most interesting person in the room, you're actually in the wrong room. So you want to be in a room that stimulates you with people who, you know, can meet you and provoke you to become better, a better person. A lot of times our loved ones, they want us to stay safe. So when you have a crazy idea, they're gonna be like, no, you don't need to do that, right? When are you spending time with people who are like, you know what, that's amazing, I got your back on this one, you know, just let me know if you need some accountability, give me a call. So you need some of those people in your life that are encouraging you for your crazy endeavors and dreams, and they're pushing you to be a better person regularly. So that's important. So loneliness is the absence of inspiring conversations. I was there when I had all my toddlers. No inspiring conversations. It really kills you. Feeling safe to be vulnerable. And that's something that we all need. We need a space where we can feel vulnerable, really be ourselves, make mistakes. We need sincere affection, right? It's one of the great things about being a mother is like, these people just come right into your house and they give you sincere hugs, right? But you have to find them somehow if you don't have that. Find some sincere affection with someone that you love. Acknowledgement and appreciation. And if no one else is giving this to you, give it to yourself. Instead of looking in the mirror and be like, oh God, you're getting old. Instead, be like, you know what? That thing you did yesterday, that was pretty cool. That was amazing. There's Mel Robbins. She has a whole book about giving yourself a high five in the mirror. Give yourself a high five. Do something that, you know, uplifts you and makes you feel appreciated and acknowledged. And I have a practice of actually teaching all my ladies to acknowledge themselves, like every time I meet them. Like, acknowledge yourself just for showing up. Acknowledge yourself for you know, your commitment to yourself, to being better, to growing, whatever it is. All right. And sometimes you need someone to just be with, like someone that's there, but they don't want anything from you in that moment. That's really important. And feeling seen and feeling heard. And now a lot of these things with create connection, one of the reasons we don't often have them is because we are not having difficult conversations. So I think that everything that we want is on the other side of discomfort. And one of those great ways to get uncomfortable and then find what you want is actually through a conversation. So another great question that I can offer you guys today is to ask yourself or write down lists of, I'm not having a conversation about blank with blank. Start writing those sentences out. Who are you not having a conversation with? What are you not having a conversation about? And some of those conversations that come up, you may want to actually go have them. And other ones, just acknowledging, like, look at all the things that I'm just not saying will help you. Okay, so that could be super powerful. So I kind of lost track of my time. So how much time do I have now, or am I over already?
I have no idea.
Okay. So I will just wrap it up. I don't think I went less time. So basically, you know, just to leave you with the last piece, which is the discomfort, right? Everything that you want, whether it's writing a book, whatever it is, right? Even just the ultimate success, you know, for the Muslims in here, you want to be success in life, the ultimate success at the end of your life, right? Whatever it is that you want, it is on the other side of discomfort. And I know that we are all willing to have to be uncomfortable. We endure a lot. However, for your dreams, for your goals, how uncomfortable are you willing to be? Right? And that includes those conversations. That is so key. Have those uncomfortable conversations, right? Be willing to walk through what one neuroscientist that I listen to calls the river of change, right? You got to step into that river of change. It's going to be uncomfortable, but when you get through it, it will be so much easier because our habits that we have, they have been ingrained for years and years and years. So we're just in comfort right now. Like my dad loves to complain. He will come home and complain, and he's the happiest person on earth when he's complaining because that's his habit. And so we're all comfortable doing what we've been doing all this time. But when we get uncomfortable, it's changing and shifting who we are and how we show up. And then that will eventually become more comfortable, right? And then we need to kind of provoke that to keep growing. So that's my bet. Get uncomfortable. And please remember that you are so much more powerful than you know. You have a incredible sphere of influence. So start paying attention to that too. Like, who do I actually have influence over in my life? And how can I impact them for the better, right? It might be your kids, your family, your friends, your community. So don't forget. All right. Thank you so much.